The hell's wrong with you?
Welcome. We were just having a little discussion about the timer. Hello, good evening, afternoon. Welcome to episode 13 of the Generation X Retro Gaming Club. Yes.
Unlucky.
The only gaming podcast aimed at the older gamer. No kids allowed. Yay. We've been playing games over 30 years and we still love it. So if you want to hear all the latest on gaming or even take a trip down gaming memory lane, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Generation X Retro Gaming Club. Gamers don't get old. They just level up. I'm Clive Illingdon.
And I'm Rokk.
The Rokk. And we're going to be your hosts tonight on this journey through the old and new of all things gaming. Don't forget to hit the likes, everybody. Much appreciated. And if you're new here, whack the subscribe so you know when we're going live. Coming up in today's show, anyway, we've got this week's gaming news, a new section called X Club 7, game review time with Rokk, this day in gaming history, and of course, Generation X game. But before we start, let us know what games you've been playing. Put it in the chat. Any questions, anything like that you want to ask us? Ask away. That's what we're here for. Well, Adam, what have you been playing this week? What games have been occupying your time this week?
So over the last X Club 7 days, which I have you can see what I'm doing there, can't you? I've been playing a mix. I've been playing Death Stranding again on PC. As you know, I bought it again, having played it on the old PlayStation. And I've been playing The Ghost of Tsushima, which we might talk a little bit about later. What?
Hi.
Were you gonna do a bit of Japanese there? I was looking forward to it.
Yes.
Oh right, okay. Absolutely perfect. And loads of Stadia stuff as always. Trying out the old orcs. Yeah. Killing a few of the orcs. Did get a bit orcs because I kept dying. And Breakpoint, because they landed a new update to Breakpoint where you've got the AI characters back as you used to have in the previous Breakpoint.
Have you played it this week though?
Why?
I bought it today.
Well, no, I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't play it today. But I did play it. I think last Thursday they launched the new AI characters, and then today was a new season or something, which I haven't played. But yes, I've been
apparently they'll be having some live events in it.
Yeah, well, they do this. The last one was the Terminator, the literal Terminator. Oh, that was quite good fun, actually. It's actually a really dynamic game, and there's always a lot going on. And it's one of those where it was a bit half baked when it came out, but like Anthem.
Yeah, I think I played for Xbox.
Right.
And I sort of, I don't know, sort of a Destiny element to it, like a Destiny 2 element to it. In that main hub area after the first bit, and I got a bit like, I don't know, really there's too much information. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Division's far harder in terms of so many stats and weaponry and bits and pieces. That's why I've struggled.
But I think I've got used to those sort of games a bit more now since Stadia, oddly enough. So that's why it's because it was in the sales. I bought it today. I thought, why not?
Which one? Sorry,
and I'll Ghost Breakpoint, whatever.
Ah, okay.
So I thought I'll buy it on Stadia and I'll give it another visit, give it another go.
Yeah, you should. It's actually a really good game. I think you'll enjoy it.
I like the opening bit.
Yeah, it's good. And I know that you like Assassin's Creed, and of course it's from same people. So it's kind of that genre. But I really love it. So I've been doing a load of old stuff. How about you, Clive?
Yeah, so obviously Orcs 3, been loving that. It's a great game. It's a good fun game to play as in co-op mode. It's quite difficult to do solo some of the levels. But I saw 6-4 playing it on a not on the sort of war mode level or whatever. And he was having an absolute ball, just like loads and loads of traps, loads and loads of orcs. And the amazing thing is, and it's what makes you realize the power of Stadia, is it requires a lot of power to have so much on screen going on at one time. And it is flawless. When you've watched those, when you get to that kind of level that 6.4 was playing at, like hundreds and hundreds of orcs, like loads and loads and loads of traps, lots of stuff happening all over the place, and just not one single frame is dropped or anything. It's just really, I think people underestimate it because it looks a simple game.
Yeah.
But I think they underestimate the power that must be going on behind it just to just graphically keep on top of everything that's going on when the screen is so full of stuff happening.
Yeah.
So that's quite good. I did one hand clapping.
Oh yes, I heard.
You heard, yeah.
Right down here we can hear you, mate. Yeah. Wow.
I owe you a whole set of glassware.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not. I don't think I'm going to release it to the public.
Well, I heard you say that. Why not? Go on.
Members only.
Go on.
They don't deserve it. What? And the members do.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and more PUBG as well, of course, at the weekends. A lot of fun. I had a little game, another game of Apex this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did about 3 games in about 5 minutes. I lasted that long. It's so different from PUBG, where you can spend like 20 minutes in there just surviving, not seeing anyone, hiding. Whereas in Apex, it can be all over in the first 30 seconds, I swear. It's like,
is Apex a game that your son is like top 500 in the world or something?
No, that's no. Well, he's not quite. It's in Overwatch. He gets matched with top 500 players in the world now, considering his level. So he's not. He's just. I think he's the level below the top 500.
It's truth.
Yeah, he's just He's been grinding it recently, and he grinds in every category as well. So obviously you have, your defending characters, your tank type characters, and I forget all the language for it. I should know as a gamer, but I've forgotten. My mind's gone blank. But anyway, the different categories of players, and he's sort of grinded out in each one. So he's sort of got quite high in every single category of character that they have now.
Impressive.
As well. It's pretty crazy. He's so much better than me. But anyway, can't help that. Can't help that.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. Breathe, let it go. So in the chat, we've got Jerome's been saying he played Orcs 3, Lara Croft, the new one.
Oh.
Is that the new one, Jerome?
Yes.
Osiris, that's it. Legend of Osiris, yeah. Jerome saying Ghost Recon is excellent. Zero Game struggling with Monster Boy. Yeah. It's a proper old school platforming game, that. Yeah. And I think I'm struggling a bit on one of the early levels. It's one you've got to kind of pay attention so much to what's going on, the different enemies and the timing of the different enemies. It's so well balanced in a proper sort of hardcore platforming way. Yes. I think if you struggle with Monster Boy, I think the word on the street is you're going to struggle with Celeste or whatever it is, because that's going to be really, all about timing, platform timing.
Ouch.
Dave, though, is platforming expert. He said he completed Monster Boy. It's really hard. Ooh. Dave, ignore my platforming ability. Yeah, well done, Dave.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well done.
Shall we get on with the news?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so the first bit of news here is from Xbox. And so Xbox Games Pass Ultimate subscribers, of which I am one, will get Project X Cloud access from September. So the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, just to give a bit of background here. So with the Xbox, to be able to sort of play online, you need your Xbox Live Gold account, which used to be about $5.99 a month. And then they did Xbox Games Pass, which was £7.99. And that's their sort of Netflix of games, if you want to call it. So there were two separate subscriptions that you could pay. And then they had the brilliant idea, why don't they just combine it into one? Which makes a lot of sense. So that's $5.99 and $7.99. So for about $12.99, they combined it into one package called the Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, and threw in the fact that you could use the Games Pass on the PC as well for the Xbox games that are available on PC in Games Pass. Makes sense. So, which you've got, I believe.
Which I do have.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's all wrapped up in the Xbox Games Pass Ultimate. So it's pretty good value already. Project xCloud, of course, is their cloud offering, which currently is only for mobile and tablets in 720p. And now they're going to throw that, and it's been in beta. I've had it, I've tried it, I've tested it, I've reviewed it a long time ago. In fact, when it first came out, I was one of the first people to review it. And now it's coming out of beta. We've been wondering, it's no big surprise. Like, it's funny because the industry, well, not the industry, a lot of chatter in the Twitterverse, you know, going, oh my God, this is amazing. What's that? Oh my God. It's like, quelle surprise. We knew. So basically what's happening is xCloud's coming out of beta, and it will be form part of Xbox Games Pass Ultimate. No additional price. So it's a sort of an added value sort of part of Xbox Games Pass Ultimate. So if you've got that, well, first of all, if you've got an Xbox and you've got that, then you can play, you know, all the games in the Xbox Games Pass, plus all these games that have been cleared for Project xCloud on your mobile phone or on your tablet, etc., and stuff on the side. So it's a sort of an add-on service. That's important that people kind of realize it's an add-on service. You could, if you want, just pay your $14.99 just to be able to play games on your mobile phone and not have an Xbox and all that. But that seems less good, less value, really, in my opinion. And it's not the point. It's meant to be a complimentary service, just giving you more ways to play your Xbox games, but it wouldn't be your main way to play. You know, they want you to play on your Xbox, but they're just giving you an opportunity to, you know, catch up, do other stuff. So anyway, so that's quite interesting. But again,
so are they going to
yeah.
offer people like me with the PC Games Pass? Are we going to get an opportunity with xCloud then?
No, I think only if you do. You have just the PC Games Pass, or do you have the Ultimate?
I can upgrade it, I think, but I just have the PC.
I think it will just
beta.
come with the Ultimate package as a kind of, you get this package. This is all the stuff you get, the added value, more opportunities to play our games in other places. But the key thing is they want to play on your Xbox, really.
Yeah, of course.
The key thing.
So as a PC Games Pass subscriber, if I went up to Ultimate, I'd get no additional benefit because I don't have access to the Xbox games, but I do get access to xCloud to be able to play those games on a device, for example, a screen, a laptop, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, you know, if you're playing a lot of Games Pass games on your PC, then there is, I guess, there's again, it's added value.
Yeah.
But yeah, the key thing is quelle surprise. Like, we knew they were coming out. The way that people react to this is quite weird, as though it's like, oh my God, like, wow, that's a surprise. No, it's not. We've just been waiting for them to sort of announce what they'll be doing. And even way back when it first came out, and I'm in no way being a genius or having foresight, as with everybody, said, I speculate it will form part of their Games Pass service. That would be the common sense thing to do. Kel Surprise, that's what they're doing. Again, question whether they'd charge more for it. And kudos for them to just throwing it in as a package. It makes a nice, compelling package. So yeah, that would be very interesting. Service at the moment is initially only available in the US, UK, Korea, but has since been rolled out to other key markets, including Canada, India, which is interesting, Japan, and Western Europe. So yeah, it's good. You know, it's all good value, and it's all gearing up for this being a big year for Xbox.
Clive, over on the right-hand side there, is this a relaunch of Second Life?
You fancy if I don't know. Do you want me to?
I thought it
click on as
I have clicked, and it's inviting me to register. But I thought it had been closed down at some point.
Ah, interesting. I have an I have a story of Second Life. Let's just say
you made your first fortune.
No, a friend. His partner. He discovered his partner had sort of. This was years ago. Had gone into Second Life,
right,
and was living like a sort of Second Life.
In Second Life.
In Second Life, yeah. And he told me about it, and he was just saying, how should I feel? Like, should I feel like somehow she's gone behind my back?
Yeah.
Because she never told me about this, but I found out, and then she's having all these secret nights, meeting people, interacting with people. She's got her kind of avatar, which was some sort of sexy cat thing, whatever, like a human cat thing.
Yeah.
And she's meeting other guys and stuff in Second Life.
Yeah.
But should I be jealous because it's a virtual world?
Yes.
She's not interacting with them outside of it, but she just felt compelled to have this alternative life.
Wow.
Anyway, weird.
So what happened? Can't leave us hanging?
I can't remember what happened. It was a long time ago.
Well, this is what happened. We got divorced. I ended up becoming a content creator on YouTube and covering Stadia, but it wasn't me.
Yeah, no, yeah, my friend. The friend, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Very, very, just weird.
Wow.
It was never my cup of tea. Anybody in the chat played Second Life?
I did have
I met a wonderful woman. She was a cat. Yeah, there we are. Right, I've gone all funny now. There we go. Whoa. Right. Other things in the news. Okay, this is a bit of a retro bit of news here. It's current news, but it's retro news. It's a rare Super Mario game. It's become the highest selling video game. That's bad English. What they mean is it's sold for the most money, one single game.
Yeah.
When you read this is the BBC. Rare Super Mario becomes highest selling video game. That sounds like it's sold more games than anything else, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does mean it does come across as meaning that.
That's bad anyway.
But it isn't though.
No, it is a rare version.
Yeah.
Of the 1985 Super Mario Brothers, which is sold at auction for £90,000, $114,000.
Huh. Is it a cartridge? Yeah.
Yeah, still in its original packaging, sold to an anonymous bidder. I wonder if it's that Aussie guy that we looked at last week.
Yes.
Because he had, if you watch that whole video, I didn't show you all of it, obviously, but there's some super, super rare things that he's got. Like there's only one in the world or three in the world. They were given to him by president of Sony Japan in 20 years ago. Like, just bonkers stuff. Wow. Anyway, so it's cartridge still in its original package. There was extremely high demand for it because of the packaging. If any lot in the sale could hit a number like that, it was going to be that one, said Heritage Auctions video games director. They got a video games director. So someone within the auction house who specializes in video games.
Wow.
I know there's a big market for retro collecting, but not enough necessarily for auction houses. But clearly it's that'd be a cool job, wouldn't it?
It certainly
I
would.
know a few people who work in auction houses, but they literally acquire paintings to sell in Christie's. This is get a job as a heritage auctions videos games department.
Do you think they specialize in selling cosmetics and things? Sort of skins within the auction.
Yeah. If there's real rare,
not real
Fortnite
stuff,
skins.
virtual stuff.
Yeah. We knew this would be a strong live session. I don't think anybody could have anticipated how much bidding there was on the Heritage Live and phones. Yeah, so this brand new old stock package comes connected to much loved game brands. So it was just a version of the game still in its package in mint condition, and it goes for over $100,000.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
But it's demand, supply and demand. That's the nature of an auction, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, you said the Australian fella.
But it was that Aussie guy.
I reckon it was.
Add it to his living, his house / museum.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
His kid's inheritance. We
come to a new section, ladies and gentlemen. This is called the X Club 7 review. There ain't no party like an X Club 7 party. Yeah. Okay. The pun was invented was Rokk's idea. Anyway,
fantastic. Of course it was.
This what we're going to do is we're going to do a mini review of a game that one of us has been playing over the last week, and this one is Rokk's review.
Yes.
Of the Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Yes. Interesting this, because it has been receiving mega hype. I did a 2-hour stream this morning. I've streamed a couple of hours this week of it. So I've played about 4 hours, I think, in 4 or 5 hours. Obviously a fraction of the entire game, but enough not necessarily to judge the game in its entirety in terms of where the story goes and so on.
Oh, God, look what's happened.
Bill and Ted.
I've clicked the video and it's what's it? I must have put the wrong video in.
They've hijacked my videos. Bill and Ted's excellent Stadia cast adventure. I didn't play them, I can promise you. So
keep talking.
Keep talking. Yeah, it's under Rokk.
Yeah.
So I was keen to have a look, and obviously much hype, and the video clips that they've shown, the stills. Yeah, I think Digital Foundry did a review and they were gushing about it. So I was really looking forward to it. Now, caveat, if you remember, when I played The Last of Us 2, up until about halfway through the game, I had similar feelings, which is giving you a bit of a clue as to where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So, I was like, because of the hype, and then the story kicked in. But with this, it feels to me like there's a huge amount of effort that's gone into the lighting. So
it looks amazing.
Because of the lighting.
Yeah.
But then the animation of the characters is a bit jilty, if that's a term.
Do you mean like in the gameplay or the cuts, the sort of...
No, the gameplay.
Bits, okay.
So if you again, comparing it to the 2 most recent AAA games that I've played, which were The Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding for PC, where the effort that's gone into every single nuance of the game, animation and story and music and so on, is amazing. And it does look good. Visually, it's a beautiful game, except things like when he's in water or his horse is in water, there's no ripple effect. It literally looks like you're floating on the water surface. And when you're riding your horse, it kind of trips about the place. And you think, if you've put this much effort into this game, why didn't you just go the extra 5 minutes and make a big difference to that? It feels to me like they've taken they've taken a look at a lot of the games that are kicking around, a lot of Ubisoft stuff, you know, Far Cry,
That's what it
Assassin's
reminded me
Creed.
of. I was going to say, is it like an Assassin's Creed type thing?
Yeah, it's that kind of a thing. You know, there's some beautiful parts to this game. The thing I love the most is actually the dashboard. So when you go back into it, you see it at some point just now, and that's really nicely done. It reminded me of, I don't know if you remember in Star Wars Battlefront. Um, the kind of the use of typography and everything is on point, and this has that. This worked really well, but so many parts of this, and you can see in there like, toddling along. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't match the overall quality of the game, and for me, it kind of felt like it was a wannabe developer. Now,
This
of course,
bit here,
yeah,
I thought was really like I saw you riding the horse, not you, but your
yeah.
character riding the horse. And there's a bit where the horse automatically, well, I don't know, did the horse automatically jump over a cart? Oh, there looks a bit.
Yeah, see his legs, they don't seem to go horsey legs. They just don't seem to do the. And when you've been playing on Red Dead Redemption horse, and Last of Us 2 has a lot of horse, and it's beautiful animation. You can't, I don't know, you can see the tail almost looks like it's one piece of fabric. You know, it's just, they just haven't gone the full distance for me. So I'm purely judging this on how I felt playing this game, and things like I said. You might want to speed it on a bit, Clive, actually, because I tend to wander around this village for a bit. See if you can find a piece where it's in the water, and you'll see, you know, like the animation of the water is almost just painted on over the top, and you think, "Oh, why would you do that? Why?" But you know, it's hard because you'd need to see it to appreciate what I'm saying, the individual points. But overall, I mean, it's quite a, you know, it's a quite a nice little story. It's a revenge story, typically.
Oh, here, look there,
yeah. So you know, and you've literally just got like a separate animation of water which they've overlaid over a transparency. I mean, I've seen better in Crater, frankly. So it's that. Also, so far I've found the the sort of fighting aspects are quite hard. You've got, you know, remembering the various button mashes and stuff.
Oh, I
and
find that with Assassin's Creed anyway. I'll get muddled up.
Yes, it's a bit like that. I mean, I know your character evolves. You unlock various skills. You eventually, I'll get a bow and arrow soon through one of the stories I'm doing, and you have various missions and bits and pieces, and I will play it to completion, as you know I always do. But it just felt to me as if it didn't hit the hype. Once you moved away from some of those gorgeous set scenes with the HDR and the sunlight, and one of the tricks it pulls is there's always something floating around, whether it's leaves or
there's all these leaves
pollen
or
or cotton.
yeah.
There's always that, and it adds quite nicely. And there's who was the famous, who, you'd know this, Clive, who was the Japanese director that did the Seven
Well,
Samurai?
Yoshida's said it, Kurosawa.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at chat. So there's Akira
Kurosawa. Yeah.
This is a love letter to Kurosawa, in my estimation, and in actual fact, there is there's a mode in the graphic display that you can flick. It's actually called Kurosawa, and it goes into black and white with a sort of film grain, which is quite
photo mode in it. A lot of people have been taking photos in the photo mode, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, and the stills do. But you know, things like if you look off into the middle distance and the far distance, everything drops off. You know, the detail goes. The trees thin out, and they've all got very basic foliage, and it's stuff like that that I notice.
Yeah, it's extra details that just
that
extra bit of polish.
Because you know, when we're weeks away from dropping on next gen, I expect more. And frankly, Sucker Punch. This is Sucker Punch that brought out Infamous years ago, 11 years ago. One of the, you know, Infamous and Infamous Son were Second Son were amazing games. So for me, it's style over substance, is what I'm saying. Right. Yeah. You absolutely can freeze it and get some beautiful scenes. But then overall, there's stuff that lets you down. I will say in its defense, though, and this I think Shida will like this, is I know to my shame very little about Japanese history and historical culture. yet it is a subject I'm passionate about. Social history globally, something I love. So, and there's lots of that detail in this. So when you go into your dashboard, you collect items that are a little bit like, Clive, you know, when you play Lara Croft and she'll pick
Yeah.
up an item and you can spin it around and there's a bit of a history
Oh, and
behind
it'll
it.
give you a bit of a history, yeah, of the
Yeah,
artifacts.
yeah. And there's a lot of that here, not just about, I'm guessing this is maybe 500 years ago, Japanese, but also on the Mongol Empire, because the whole game is you versus the Mongols that have invaded your island, Japanese
Okay.
island. So again, there's a lot of historical stuff there about the Mongols as well. And the fact that they learned Japanese before they invaded, they learned the culture, they went out of their way to understand how the hierarchy works and so on before they invaded, which is fascinating, and all that sort of that you peel away that history. So that's brilliant, and I love that about the game. And there is detail on that kind of level. It's just, for me, I would like to have seen them go the extra mile on the graphics.
That's interesting.
So
I must admit, because I
7 out
saw
of
a
10.
bit of you. I looked at some of that gameplay that you recorded earlier, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, you know, those sort of games never always appealed to me. And then since I played Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
I've kind of thought, actually, I quite like those mission-based games
Yeah.
with lots of depth and story now. Actually, I'd forgotten. I mean, I used to sort of play ages and ages ago similar games, but I'd forgotten about it. And as long as it's not too, sometimes you're a bit put off because you think it'll be too complicated or there's too much to do. But if a game is sort of balanced enough that it can take you through, so like Assassin's Creed, you know, there's loads to do, but you can just, you know, it's not difficult. They put a pointer where you got to go.
Yeah.
You can do other stuff, but you don't get overwhelmed too much. I think the balance is just right.
Yes.
And then it just reminded me of that style of gameplay, but with a brilliant, you know, old historic Japanese setting, like you just said, like a Kurosawa movie. So you're in Seven Samurai or a Yojimbo
and
or
I would
Sanjuro
say,
or something like that.
and I would say on that basis, it's unique. I'm not aware of any other game that's done that and taken it seriously. Somebody said this morning while I was streaming.
Is it a Red Dead Redemption? Is it like a
Japanese Red Dead
Kurosawa version of?
Good analogy, and I would say that it misses the mark on that basis.
Yeah,
I would say that I'm sure they didn't set out for it to be that.
No.
But that's a good comparison. And if you compare the two, I'd say the story is a bit clumsy here versus Red Dead, which is very well written, very well acted.
Yeah. And the amount level of detail they put in
Red Dead
Redemption is legendary.
Yeah. And you know, just riding around on your horse, it feels real. Here it just feels like a very clumsy animation. I mean, I did point out
Red Dead Redemption, they put a lot of effort in that horse animation. I remember at the time.
Because you were saying, I think you said, didn't you, that they used to judge games on how good the horse animation was.
Yeah, I worked for a company very briefly that was trying to develop a Western. And so much time and effort went in. In fact, the demo to try and get funding was all around the horse.
Really?
Yeah. How good, how realistic and how good in terms of the movement and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And the benchmark was the first Red Dead and the horse. And when that came up, wow, look at that.
That was the way the
horse moves.
Yeah.
Because previously animated horses just looked a bit crap in it.
Like a dog. But you see, the one thing that I will give them, and people might look at the horse and think, well, it looks a bit chunky. But the thing that people get wrong is thinking that, oh yeah, you know, you watch, I don't know, a Mel Gibson historical movie and he's on what looks like a racehorse. And the reality was that the fighting horses were like Shire horses. They were huge.
They had to carry like the big knights, didn't they?
Had to carry all the weight and they'd be bashed about in battle. And actually his horse is quite a chunky looking creature. So I think they got that right. Although if you didn't know that, you probably think it looks a bit odd because you expect more of a Red Dead Redemption pony look to the Shire horse, cart horse type horses, which they absolutely did have. So, I mean, I'd still say get it. It's a great game. And I hope in 2 weeks when I'm near finished or I'm finished, I'll be able to tell you that it got better for me.
Yeah.
But for now, I feel a little
It's
disappointed.
just those little missing some details.
Yeah.
That gives it that extra polish.
Yes, for the hype that's gone into the game.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 right now, but I hope to
7 out of 10,
improve on
especially as it's sort of what you would call an end of cycle game.
Yes.
So the point at which you think the developers have. So traditionally, what happens in the development cycle is as you get to the end, the developers have had several years now to really master developing for a specific platform and pushing it to its limits. And so that's when you expect to see the sort of developer's best work. So it's being released in that context.
The one thing that's quite funny to finish on, as somebody pointed out in the stream this morning, and I hadn't spotted it, is that there's that ongoing joke about how when you watch a dubbed Japanese film, they've got the English going and the lips are all over the place and it's so obviously dubbed. The reverse is the case here.
Yeah.
If you put the Japanese on, it's perfect. When you put the English on, it's all over the place.
So it's like that.
Yeah, exactly. But the reverse of what you'd... Yeah, exactly that.
You boss, I kill you. You lose. Yes. The man come into the shop. Fight.
Precisely that.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go.
There we are,
Gen X Club 7.
Yeah, can we get 10 plus likes? Of course, Lee. Come on, Lee. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah, encourage everybody.
Good to see you.
So there we go. That was X Club 7, Game of the Week, Ghost of Tsushima, available on PlayStation 4.
Yes, only on PlayStation. Yeah.
Only on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, next we're going to go to this day in gaming history. And at this day, I'm not going to go that far back, but I think the game is significant enough. Might not be a popular game with the crowd here. Ooh, we're going to lose the crowd. But the game I'm referring to is a small little indie game that people might have heard of. And it was released roughly this week, 3 years ago. I don't know if you can see that there. It's Fortnite. Fortnite. 2017. It feels like it's been around like ages.
It's unbelievable.
Much longer than that. But if we just read a little bit, I've talked about Fortnite before and its history, because a lot of people don't kind of realize the sort of the background to it. But I was just checking out on the Wikipedia page today. It's got a bit more of the history of it, and it's quite interesting. Because as I sort of said before, when it was first released, I'm talking of Orcs 3, it was like a defense, a tower defense type game called Save the World, in a way, where you had to build up barricades and stuff like that to stop the zombie onslaught. So it wasn't a battle royale game.
Oh, right.
And it was released as a sort of initial beta trial, as it were, on July the 25th, early access. That's it. I told you, because recently they only take the early access off the loading screen.
Yes. Yes.
Like a few weeks ago, we talked about it. But July the 25th, so in 4 days' time, 2017, Fortnite Save the World was released. And the interesting thing here, and also when Tencent, we've talked about Tencent as well, having part ownership of Epic, or a big stake in Epic, when they came in, and it changed the game. So we've got here, Fortnite have Saved the World, which is a player versus environment cooperative game. You have to go off and do various missions together, and basically you keep getting attacked by zombies. And then, of course, the Fortnite Battle Royale, which is a game that everybody knows and is free. And then they introduced Fortnite Creative, which is a sandbox game, a bit like Crater. But it looks, some of the stuff that people build in it reminds me of Crater a lot, actually. So that's Fortnite Creative. So we look at the history here. So Fortnite began as an internal game jam at Epic Games, following the publishing of Gears of War 3 around 2011, development of Fortnite slowed due to several issues, including switching from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, and then wanting to have a deeper role-playing game approach to make the life feel kind of slightly more larger and extended. And then there was a switch of style from a darker theme to the now familiar cartoony theme that we see. At the same time, Epic were looking to get into the games as a service model, which is what Fortnite effectively is now. They just service it and people effectively keep buying season packs and cosmetics and stuff as long as they keep updating the game, keeping it fresh. So at that time, Epic were looking to getting into that, and they brought in Chinese publisher Tencent to help. So that's the point at which Tencent came in, and they took a larger stake in Epic. And because of that, some of the executives ended up departing from Epic. One of them being a guy called Clive Blesniski, who was a key part of Fortnite's development. And then Fortnite's approach was changed to be a test bed for this games as a service. So originally it was just going to be a conventional co-op kind of beat the zombie type game. And then because Epic wanted to go into this games as a service sort of strategy, they used Fortnite as its sort of first example. So they released it as early access in July 2017, 3 years ago, with plans to release it as free to play 2 years later, maybe, once they'd got feedback from players. And then a few months later, they released the Battle Royale element of it as a separate part to distinguish it from the Save the World bit. And then they charged for Save the World, and the Battle Royale bit was free. So near the same time Epic released Fortnite, of course, into early access, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, so PUBG, my beloved PUBG, had by that time become a worldwide phenomenon, selling over 5 million copies.
Wow.
3 months from its March 2017 release. Yeah. So before Fortnite Battle Royale released, everybody was talking about PUBG. It sold 5 million copies in the space of 3 months. It came from nowhere, sort of thing. So clearly, Epic recognized that with the Fortnite-based game, they could also do a Battle Royale game. And they rapidly developed their own version on top of the Fortnite Save the World, basically, in about 2 months.
Wow.
And by 2017, they were ready to release this second version of the original game, which is the Battle Royale. And then later decided to release it as a free game supported by transactions. And this version quickly gained players with over 10 million players during the first 2 weeks of release. Yeah, because it's free. And now, of course, they making several 100 million a month.
The rest is history.
Yeah. And then we've seen lots of people following that game as a service sort of thing, strategy, more and more. But yeah, there we go. It all started with a little game called Fortnite Save the World 3 years ago this week. There you go.
It does feel so much longer than 3 years, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It feels like, but I mean, it just goes to show how in 3 years, it's one of the things, it's one of the games, every so often a few games break through beyond the gaming culture. So I've seen like Ninja guest on the Ellen show. It's like two or three times, or, late night chat shows in America and stuff. So he even famously or infamously put the lights on or set off the lights on. I think it's some New Year's Times Square thing.
Oh, really?
It was a real cringe moment. when he sort of tried to shout and encourage the crowd to do something and nobody responded.
Oh no.
And it's like really, really embarrassing. He's owned it. But yeah. But what I'm saying, it's one of the games that has sort of, is become part of popular culture beyond just gaming culture. But there we are. Love it or hate it. It's part of gaming culture, full stop. So there we go.
Amazing.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we now move swiftly on to one of our favorite parts of the Generation X Retro Gaming Club. Hopefully one of your favorite parts of the Generation X Retro Gaming Club. It is the Generation X game, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's that time. And Rokk, I have a little surprise.
Have you? Did you buy me that puppy? Right. I hope you enjoyed those titles, you chat. This week, I'm going to go first. You always do.
Sometimes, sometimes, mostly. This week, my game that I'm going to be choosing here to challenge you is this game. It was an arcade from Konami, and then on PlayStation 1. We'll get past the ads. Hope they're not.
I was thinking, that's great graphics.
It's amazing graphics. Algorithmically, I know they're not embarrassing ads.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh, browser's running a bit slow. Oh, it's Peloton. There we are. She was breathing a bit heavy. I was worried there. This Bishi Bashi.
Bishi Bashi.
We have a bit of sound as well on that.
Attention.
So, Bishi Bashi is just basically a collection of just ridiculous, in a, no offense, Yoshida, Japanese crazy way, games. And the Bishi Bashi is that kind of onomatopoeic kind of sound, Bishi Bashi, because it's all about bashing buttons. In the arcade, you see these characters here, they've got like blue lines around them or green lines. So on your controller, you're on the PlayStation controllers, yeah, the triangle, square and that are different colors, aren't they? So what you're effectively doing, you've got to press the right color at the right time. So it's all about button pressing, and you're competing against your buddy, player 2. So in the arcade version, you've got these giant colored buttons on the panel when you're playing arcade, and you're literally going like bashing, and your mate's on the other side going bashing his buttons, you know. So you've basically got 4 different colored buttons. I think there's 5 actually, because there's 1 to start the game. And they're just crazy, just mini games, like shaking the can. Who can, you know?
Okay, so it's lots of different games, like a little Olympia.
Yeah, lots and lots of different games. And you don't know what's coming up. So you play against your mate. Oh yeah, this is like who's shaking their can enough to send it to space.
Brilliant.
And they had lots of different iterations of this as well. Let's get the so there was an arcade version with these, say, big, bright, colourful buttons that you have to whack really hard and stuff. And then they did lots of different versions of it. So there was a Bishi Bashi 1, Bishi Bashi 2, and different versions. And one of the games out of it, I just get there, it was cool. So there was a mini game in it in which you play a salary man, like getting up in the morning and going down the stairs to get to work. And they actually built a whole game and released a game called Salaryman.
No.
Yeah. It's a completely separate game, just based on one of the mini games, and released it in Japan. Let's have a look at it. This is the so this is a video where some guys talking about the history of the arcade version of it. Let's just we'll get some.
Bishi Bashi hit arcades in 2009. Well, this version hit arcades in 2009. The game was produced and developed by
So you
Konami.
see these big
The
bright
game
buttons and
is-
stuff they have.
Game is
Yes. Two discs, one, two.
Yeah, who
it's
can
a
catch
series
the,
of mini
I don't
games
know, the roll.
that are
Sushi.
very
Yeah.
Or Twinkie.
Japanese.
The guy's going to the toilet.
Oh, it's so
What?
Japanese.
Yeah. And they just each kind of sequel they release, just
What the
more
f-
and more of
is
these crazy games.
What the f is this?
In the shape of 4 large buttons in the
Malkovich.
top,
You have these big
all-
4 large
all
buttons.
different colors. And I
This was for PlayStation,
can't
is it?
honestly keep watching.
But it was
So
on,
originally it was an arcade game from
Yeah.
Konami, and with those, and they say on your panel you had these big, bright, colourful buttons,
Mm.
and then your mate would be next to you, and he'd have bright, colourful buttons, and you'd just be bishy bashy the buttons.
Bishi bashi.
Yeah.
Completely passed me by again, Clive.
Oh, sorry. Did none of you
It's
see that there?
2009. Well, this version hit arcades in
There we go.
2009. The game was produced and developed by Konami. The game is
There we are, there's a toilet game.
What the f is this?
And John Malkovich. No idea why he's in there.
No, that's the guy who's doing this video. Just threw it in as a kind of gif going, what the hell is happening?
Being John Malkovich around the head with a yellow
Yeah.
button.
And I can't honestly
So there we go.
keep watching this.
Bishy Bashy.
Wow.
It was just a great sort of party game to play on the PlayStation and stuff like that. With a little quick, we'll give I'll give you a little breakdown of the history because we know you want to know the history. Bishy Bashy, Bishy Bashy Shampoo, not shampoo, shampoo. Bishy Bashy Shampoo, which is like championship.
Ah.
I think Yoshida's talked about how they've shortened Western words.
Oh, really?
So it comes out Bishi Bashi Shampoo. I think that's
Ah.
right. Yoshida will correct me. Konami video games for arcades, mobile phones, PlayStations, and Windows. Maybe we should play on Windows, find a version and play it
Yeah.
on stream it live. Competitive and imaginative mini games where you play each other. The arcade game supports 1 to 6 players, and the PlayStation game allows 1 to 8 players. So a proper party game type thing. And then there was lots of different games: Bishi Bashi Championship, or Bishi Bashi Champ, Super Bishi Bashi Champ, Hyper Bishi Bash, Anime Champ, Salaryman Champ.
Salaryman.
Salaryman Champ was, I looked at that earlier. It was just hilarious. I remember years ago when I worked at Lego Games, somebody, and it might have been Salaryman Champ, but there was a game called Office Race.
Right.
And it was about, I'm sure it was on the PlayStation, and it was basically a game set in an office where everything goes wrong for this poor guy. And it's like an arcade, but like in an office, and he had to do like fix the photocopier or something like that, and things were going crazy in a crazy arcade way. I was trying to find it today, but I couldn't remember what it's called, and I'm wondering whether it was Salaryman. But there we go. Bishi Bashi, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody? I'm looking at the chat here, and they're blank. They're blank.
I honestly
You're
never
telling
seen
me
it before in
nobody
my
knows
life.
Bishi Bashi?
No,
Shame on you.
never heard of it, mate. And that doesn't bode well. Let's be honest.
No, that doesn't bode well. I thought Bishi Bashi. I thought everybody heard of Bishi Bashi. Okay,
You do throw some obscure ones in. It has to be said.
I do. Now, do we want to go at YouTube on yours?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
Let's
this
do it.
is your game. Wait until I get the YouTube up and get through
Yeah,
the
yeah.
embarrassing ads.
Yeah.
Simply
Now more
safe.
than
It's a
ever,
home alarm
you want to
system.
protect
We're all
your
right.
family and belongings. With a home alarm
We should
system
use
from
my
SimpliSafe.
paid account, Clive, with no adverts, mate.
Where have I got
Tumbleweed says
paid?
Dave.
Oh,
Absolutely right, David. You tell him, mate.
oh man.
Tumbleweed. Kidima.
What's going on, guys? T-Mark
So yeah,
here,
so my
and,
game,
yes, we're
I
starting
thought
a
as I
brand new
was
Let's Play today.
giving
This is
the
infamous.
old
It's
Ghosts of
PS3
Shimuni,
Shimuni,
a little bit of a pasting. It'd be good to go back and have a look at what Sucker Punch did most famously a few years back, and it was the infamous series. So this was Infamous 1, then of course there was Infamous Second Son, and then they had another one which I've forgotten the title of. But it was a great game because you had a choice. You could either go good karma or bad karma.
Okay.
So you had a whole range of missions and bits and pieces, a little bit like we talked earlier with Ghost and other games. So you had to go off and do various things, some of them taxing, most of them not. But you had a choice. You could either do it and harm a lot of people in a nasty way, or you could do it nicely and build up, a big following. But it was your choice. Most of the time, it didn't make a huge difference what you did, but it did towards the end of the game, and then there'll be an alternative ending to the game, depending on whether you've been a good boy or a bad boy. But it was a kind of superhero type thing. Your character Cole has a bunch of powers, allows him to it's a great game. So you essentially have the ability to climb walls, fly around, you build up your powers as you go, and you become godlike in essence. So you have the choice whether you want to use those powers for good or for evil. And you could literally wipe out entire cities if you want to. But yeah, it's
what was this on?
PlayStation. Yeah, it was an exclusive.
Which one?
Infamous PS. Well, it was 11 years ago, I think. So it'd be PS3. And
It looks great.
Yeah, no, it was good. And I think they used the Havoc
lighting.
engine. Yes, but also the character modeling anyway was excellent. I think they used the Havoc engine, and the great thing about the Havoc engine is that everything is destructible. So everything falls apart. If you hit a wall, it'll break up. But you see here, he's absorbing this electric energy. It gives him this power, and he ends up looking a bit like what's he called? Justin Timberlake running around with his backpack. I always thought, you can't see it here, he's looking a bit worse for wear, but as the game progresses, I couldn't help but think he looked like Justin Timberlake. Infamous Second Son took it up a whole other notch. I mean, the graphics went right up in comparison.
The graphics look impressive here.
They're good. They're good.
PlayStation 3.
And the good thing, as I say, was you could go anywhere and everywhere. So you had complete XYZ movability. Your character could go up, run up the side of a building, sort of leap over buildings, or bash through buildings and turn over cars and stuff. So as I say, you could literally use your powers if you just felt like, you know what, I'm going to create a save point and I'm going to go in and destroy everybody, and then I'll go back to my original save point. You could do all that stuff, but it was very successful. It was a really successful time, and to say there was a trilogy in the end with some DLC as well, but just a really nice franchise. And then of course they went very quiet, and then they popped up again with the Ghost of Tsushima, which there's some leanings here with Sucker Punch, but yeah, I loved it. I loved the series. It was
I'm not sure I remember it.
Yeah, if you kind of whip it on a few minutes, because this is essentially the opening sequence where there's a big sort of cataclysmic explosion, and he becomes this character, and all the cutscenes are done in a comic style, so to emphasize the fact that it's kind of like a superhero. So you sort of can follow the cutscenes as like a comic.
I see here. Yeah, you've got that. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice style.
Yeah, and that was on purpose.
Oh yes, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a great game. I don't know if you can still. I mean, you wouldn't be able to unless you had a PS3. You couldn't play it. I don't believe. Having said that, it may well be on PlayStation Now, of course.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the advantages of the PS Now service, is that it does allow you to play some classic PlayStation games that have, literally no one's got the hardware for anymore. But yeah, so he would absorb energy out of equipment. This is what is happening here. He's learning his powers,
And
absorbing
is that what the
energy.
indicator at the top is?
Yeah, and that kind of fills up, as you can see there. When you look at him front on, he looks like Justin Timberlake with his little backpack, his little leather jacket. But yeah, so he absorbs that energy, and then he's able to use that as a weapon. And he can, you know, as he what actually happens over the entire game is he picks up different elements. So it's not just electricity. I forget the others now, but you know he has different kinds of elements that he can use, a little bit like Destiny, actually. So arc, and then a void, and so on, and he can fire these balls at people, and you know, just generally, yeah, it's just a great game. I loved it, and the scene, and then the second one, Infamous Second Son, is just a gorgeous game. Really lovely graphics with the same kind of Havoc engine, but upper level. And that's my point with Ghost, because there was attention to detail here, and you kind of feel with Ghost they're trying to do something like Guerrilla did with Horizon Zero Dawn, but missing the point. But you know, I've done my piece on Ghost. I can't keep going on. So yeah, that's my game for this week. Infamous.
Well,
Sucker Punch.
There we go. Roll the special titles. Fight time. Okay, so I want to put R for Rokk, C for Clive, chat. Let's go away. Let's get the chat on and we'll see. We'll keep a monitor. So is it Bishy Bashy, C for Clive, or is it Infamous Son or Infamous?
Infamous. And then there was Second Sons.
Infamous, R for Rokk. C for Bishy Bashy, R for Infamous. Put your votes in the chat now, and we'll have a little look.
You know what's coming
Vote
from.
now. I'm loving the way that chat looks.
Yeah.
It comes up different. My chats come up different colors, but it's looking really good there. Gamer Man, hey, welcome, Gamer Man. He says this game is awesome. David Handley's going, ah. Stadia Crumpus is going, ah. Dave Windmill's going, ah.
Of course they are.
Can't believe.
Of course they are.
Bishy Bash is amazing.
I know, but nobody'd heard of it, mate. There's no emotional investment. No emotional investment.
No emotional investment there.
No.
Great fun playing Bishy Bashy.
It did. I mean, there is. I've always had a hankering to play Orange.
It's a casual gamer.
On the toilet.
Like get some mates round who don't even play games, and you can say, look, all you got to do is press the yellow or the red or the button when they're thinking, you know. It's great post pub game.
See this at Brandon's in there with Team Rokk.
Team Rokk.
Team Rokk. You guys know it.
Well, I think okay. Yeah. I got rid of the chair. What a shame. No, I didn't.
Thank you. I accept. Yeah.
Another one for Rokk. R for Rhinoceros is. Jerome, we're not using numbers.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what Jerome's got his own code going.
Bishy Bashy, well done, Yoshida. I appreciate the sympathy vote now.
Yeah, bless
coming
her.
in. Either that or chat's 20 seconds behind. Bish Bash, yeah. Bishy Bashy, yeah. No, Rokk wins it. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Chat.
Never
I
heard
hope
of
you
it.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat because we're looking at chat now.
We are. Look at that, David.
Lively game. Sorry,
David's
I've
giving
never
me
heard
loads
of
of
it.
R's.
Bishy Bashy. Yes, I know. There's chat's full of R's.
It's
What a load of R's.
Oh dear. I've got to go and find Bishy Bashy now. I always feel sorry for Clive when he doesn't win. He looks so dejected.
Just trying to educate the audience, you know. trying to educate the audience.
I'll share my bar of chocolate with you, mate. You'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
right,
it was
the chat. Dave Windle says,
point, Dave.
PS2, PS3, I was out of the loop, was on Xbox, so not heard of either. But Infamous is the one I'd have chosen to play.
Well, that's a fair point. It is a
fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. Infamous is the more conventional game. I get that. I nearly went for Bomberman today.
Did you? Oh, you should have done that. We should. We'll get that in a future one.
We'll do that. We'll do that in a future one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
When is it? When's it coming? September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that. We can do
It's got to be a
session on that.
future one. Yeah. Talking of which, I've got to get my 64 games thing going as well. Forgot about that.
Oh, you're Commodore 64.
Yeah, the old charity stream. Got to do it. Make a little note to myself.
Get going. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What game? I will ask the chat here. What game? It's got to be a sort of accessible game, but that we can get our hands on. So even if it's using an emulator or something like that, what game do you think we should stream on the channel on this particular channel? Let us know what game you think we should stream, because we're thinking of streaming some games.
If you are for Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
I was thinking Arthur Romeo myself.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the normal police radio talk, isn't it? Yeah, Romeo, Juliet, Rhinoceros, Juliet. What?
Yeah. For the win. Yes, I was going to do 64 games in a session for charity.
All 64 games on the
Commodore 64. Yeah. And I've got to sort that out. Maybe I'll do it for the first week of August.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Look forward to that. Make a date.
And don't be late.
Don't be late. 64, Commodore 64s.
Who dares wins?
Who dares wins?
Come
on. Oh, on the Commodore 64.
Yeah. Gameplay goes to first. Yeah, I might do some more tomorrow. I might do another hour or so in the morning. I kind of get up early. I think, I might as well go and put the old PS4.
Yeah, that gameplay that I showed earlier of that was Rokk on Stadia Rocks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, David. Yes, Dave. Ocarina of Time.
Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd might be doable, but Ocarina I'd need to how we get
Manic Miner. I want to play Manic Miner.
An Elgato or something to get it working. Ocarina of Time. You know, I played the other game, of course, that followed Mask of. Oh, we got a vote. Have we got a sub there? Mask of Majora. Do you remember that, Dave? Yeah, it was the Zelda. It was the sequel to the Ocarina of Time.
Right. Okay.
Mask of Majora. I think it was called Mask of Majora. It sort of was more of a direct sequel, whereas, and in terms of the same style and everything, whereas Wind Waker, they opted for a more cutesy, cartoony cell shading, which was controversial at the time. But
great game. Great game. Because they've even got an emulator for Stadia now. It's called xCloud.
Oh. It's not as good.
No.
It's emulated.
Yeah, Paperboy was a great game. That was quite a few platformers, wasn't it?
Was that you like cycle along throwing the papers?
Yeah, you had to get them in the dog would come out and knock you off your bike and stuff.
That's a good shout, gamer man. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I remember it. I'm going to find this Office game, Salaryman. I'm going to play Salaryman. Salaryman.
Big old stick of green, hideous veg. Which one, Dave? Ocarina of Time.
A Salaryman VR game.
What?
Salaryman Escape. What? I didn't realize they'd done updated versions.
Oh.
Let's have a quick look at this. I'll have a quick look at this chat. I didn't even know this thing exists. I don't think this is the same thing. This is not the same salary, but
Salaryman Escape
in VR.
Wow. PlayStation
Chrome browsers is freezing up there.
Looks nice though. I love that. Simple.
Before you leave the office.
Couple of colours, so you have to put the blocks in.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's a sort of puzzle platform game, and you move the bits around and like a maze.
That's a gorgeous looking game.
Yeah, it's in VR. You can see the little stick there. You're controlling like a stick to move stuff in VR. It's on the PlayStation.
My
That's not the
PlayStation
game I
VR
was
went up in
thinking of.
smoke.
Oh yeah, what? So you had it and it.
Yeah, and then I had it on my head. I was playing a game, and I thought,
Why it went up in
wow.
smoke on your head?
I was thinking, wow, I can literally smell the game. And yeah, the old.
This VR is really good.
This is so good. It's so
Smell
real.
it.
Yeah, and it was the old power block.
Oh my god!
Went up in smoke, so that was the end of that. That was the end of that. Interestingly, Clive, you know we said earlier about Second Life.
Yeah.
Turns out, at the beginning of this month, they were bought out by an investment company. Who hence the
Oh yeah, I heard they were going to
yeah
launch it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why they're pushing hard on that.
Here we are. Just because I know you want to see it.
Is this him? Is this
Salaryman. Salaryman champ.
Salary. Does he go to the toilet out of interest?
Who can eat their breakfast? No, who can eat their breakfast first? So you're just bashing your buttons.
Ah.
And there's a winner. So okay, and then next it's who can get up? Who can get down? Who can get up the steps first? I see the different color steps. You can have red, blue, red, blue, green,
wow.
red,
Yeah.
blue, red, blue, blue. Yay! Who can get?
He's determined to win, isn't he? He's not letting it go.
And each one is a different character. So you've got the
He's not letting
nerdy
it
one,
go.
the kind of cool office guy, and the angry office guy. Don't know what this is. Yoshida will be able to tell us what. Oh, maybe it's waiting at the tube. Oh, the station. What? Don't know quite what's going on here, but he's obviously on his way.
People talking.
I can't quite what you're doing here. Who this guy is meant to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's talking to people, isn't he? He's all listening to people while he's going up and down the
Yeah,
escalator.
but I don't know
or
what you mean. What the point of this bit is in relation to the office.
he's going to work. Now he's at. Now he's
So
at
the
work.
next bit.
He's counting his money.
Oh, he's stamping. Yeah, he's stamping. Who can stamp
Oh,
their
wow.
papers?
He's got a mundane job.
Yeah, he's salaryman. Salaryman. Yeah. There we go. I knew you were all dying to watch it, so that's just going to show you a bit of salaryman.
I'm still not seeing many C's in the
No,
chat, mate.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
It says, "Find out, Mr. Umida." Or is that for another show?
Mr. Umida. Did all their characters start with Mr. or Man or?
Umida-san. I hope nothing rude's going to come up.
Yeah,
here.
I was going to say, sorry, but she's got 4, mate.
Yeah. If I put that, it's like Ambassador Mr. Kunio Umida of the Japanese Extraordinary, don't know, delegation to Vietnam. I don't think it's him.
In his own game of realism.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have another look. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's another random a random show of randomness all
Yes.
based around gaming. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found that interesting. I hope there was some insight into current games that are out, and I hope you found the little trip down memory lane and all of that interesting. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the chat. I hope you enjoyed the quirkiness, the eccentricity, and you had good fun. We want to thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along and joining us on our little show every week, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. UK time. Don't forget to hit the likes. If you're new here, defo hit the subs. Enjoy yourself. Have a great, great week. And it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.